Shashank Dixit's parents wanted him to have a safe government job in India when he graduated from university, but he had other plans. He wanted to forge his own path and create his own legacy.
In 2008, he founded Deskera. He saw an opportunity to help small and mid-sized firms better run their businesses with state-of-the-art technology. And today, he has thousands of clients across the world, and Deskera is Asia's top enterprise cloud company.
This morning on Coffee with the Boss, we speak to Mr. Dixit. Shashank Dixit is the founder and CEO of Deskera, an enterprise cloud company. He started Deskera at university, and today it has offices across the globe, with Singapore at the center of its operations. Shashank wanted to change how small and medium-sized enterprises ran their business. He offered close to 90% of processes one needs in a company, from bookkeeping, stock checking, payroll, HR management, and even a way of managing and analyzing big data. Deskera has 80,000 users globally, and things will only get bigger with an IPO currently being planned. Shashank is just getting started, so let's go meet him on Coffee with the Boss. Shashank, nice to meet you.
Lance, welcome to Deskera.
Thank you. Now, thanks for getting the coffee and tea organized. What made you decide to start your own business?
This is the first company and the only company I've ever worked with. And when I was in college, the charm of entrepreneurship drove me to set up on my own. I come from India, where we have a huge population. And one of the things that we saw growing up was a lot of poverty. And I thought, you know, instead of looking for a job, why not create more jobs? Why not create more success stories? And that drove me to start on my own, and here I am.
Did you get any stern looks from your family when you said you wanted to be an entrepreneur and start up your own business? Did they take to that kindly?
I come from a very conservative family, and my family wanted me to take up a job, preferably with the government, so be a civil servant. And I had other ideas and other plans, and my elder brother is about 7 years older to me, and he's a doctor, and he's the most successful sibling between two of us. So, well, it's changing fast. Asia is fast becoming a hub for entrepreneurs, and parents are getting to know entrepreneurship better. But at my time, 15 years ago, it was virtually impossible to start on your own.
Well, Deskera is doing exceedingly well. You champion small and medium enterprises. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, and this is something that's very close to my heart. SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses, form the bulk of any economy in Asia. If you look at countries like Singapore, the small and medium size is probably 80% of the economy. In countries like Indonesia, it's about 95%. In India, it's 90% and above. So the bulk of job creation, the bulk of value creation happens in SMPs. When you see a small company in this part of the world, you'll see them using pen and paper. You'll see them using, archaic systems. If you improve an SMB, you improve the economy of the country, and we saw that opportunity very early on.
Shashank, why did you decide on having Singapore as your headquarters?
Well, Singapore is the best place to launch a startup. Singapore is and continues to be the best place for entrepreneurs. When I first arrived in Singapore, the Singapore SMB, or Singapore small and medium-sized companies here, were starting to adopt technology. Look at our tollways, look at how we run the airport. We see technology as an enabler, and our small, medium-sized companies see technology as something that can help them improve their business. So for an entrepreneur like me who wants to help SMBs, this nation offers the best advantage in terms of access to market. We found investors in Singapore, we found great customers in Singapore, and we found great talent in Singapore. Besides the fact that Singapore itself offers a very good market, Singapore lies bang in the middle of 4 billion people. You are 4 hours away from 4 billion people, and that's something that's very unique to Singapore. I live about 15 minutes away from Changi Airport, which is amongst the best airport in the world, and it takes me 1 hour to get to any city within Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, and of course Southeast Asia, and about 4 hours to India or China. I don't think any place in the world offers this kind of connectivity.
What are your plans for Deskera? There are murmurings that there could be an IPO.
Yes, our growth has been extremely phenomenal for the last few years. We've seen great traction coming from India. We're seeing good traction coming from US. I see Asia being the powerhouse or the power source for the world in this century, and I see SMBs as the main ingredient of that powerhouse. I see India catching up with China. We are already seeing signs of great growth coming from Indonesia. We are seeing good growth coming from Malaysia, even though the commodity cycle is kind of off. And we're seeing good numbers coming out of Philippines and Vietnam and the whole of Southeast Asia. So at least for the next few years, I think we'll manage very good growth. If we do this for the next few years, and I'm talking about in general economy, I'm not just talking about Deskera, but in general, if we continue to grow at this pace, we're going to emerge from the third world of this last century to the first world of the next 10-20 years, in the next 20 years. And with that, you know, we hope Deskera becomes a bigger player, and we're planning to share our success with investors and our customers, partners alike, and hopefully share our success stories with millions of investors soon.
When you look out for a potential employee, what are certain ticks that they need to have for you?
When you look at a young talent today, when you look at a graduate straight from the university today, they have a lot of options to choose from. During my time, you know, maybe 20 years ago, you would come out of university and you would take a job, or as I did, start your own small business, which was very rare. But you would typically take a job, spend your next 10 years in a job, get married, get a family, and progress in your corporate, you know, ladder, and hope to achieve some success someday. The young talent today is very impatient, and they don't see. And I understand that. You know, we're not that old ourselves, so we understand the idea about being more aggressive, I would say. But at the same time, you know, spending 10 years, 20 years in this industry has taught me that it takes a little bit of time for you to get a handle on things. So the one thing that I really look for is clarity of thought, clarity of ideas, and clarity of your vision, and a little bit of loyalty. You know, if I see a resume with somebody who has 4 years of experience, who has changed 4 jobs in 4 years, that doesn't give a very good idea. That doesn't give a very good picture of that person. So I would say a clarity of thought, and you know, get some clarity very early on, and that clarity translates to loyalty. That clarity translates to execution, and probably happiness as well.
Shashank, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I know you're having a cup of tea. I'm having my cup of coffee. Thank you for your time, and all the best to Deskera.
Thanks, Lance, and good meeting you.
Same here, sir.
Loyalty definitely is a good trait to have, and it seems Deskera is also doing very well under Shashank. It made about $41 million in the last FY.
Yeah, and Deskera will also be investing $50 million over the next 3 years to build a wholly owned cloud data center in Singapore. Now, if you know of a top executive I should be speaking to, tweet me at LandCNA. Thanks, Yvonne.
Well, you're welcome.